I'm good. Cool. Hey everyone, it's it's Rian again. I'm here with Chris Bright, and today we're being joined by JP Kruger up in Joburg. JP, how are you guys up at that side?
Hey man, super blessed. Yes, and it's super cool to have this little intervention, and it's just great to be here.
Technically, JP is not from Joburg; he's from Nigel.
Sorry, I don't know the specifics. I don't know the specifics.
Nigel, it is technically still Springs. Springs is good. There's cows crossing the road. It's a good day.
I don't know what that falls at.
Yeah. So we've got Springs, we've got Nigel, and then there's also Boksburg, which I know is not far from you. So I don't know where you're in that little strange Joburg triangle, but I mean that's we'll get to that eventually. Yeah.
Boksburg does have a proud heritage of fighters. There is that.
It's in the name.
That was good.
It's in the name.
But Chris, from like where are you originally?
This is not about me. This is about you. First podcast of.
It can be about you, Chris.
Ons die restaurant en dan sal daar.
Okay, someone speak.
I'll speak. So like Chris Bright kind of like grew up. You remember the part in The Lion King when like Simba was sitting like with Mufasa and he was like, Simba, over there you must never go. They're like elephant graveyard. Yeah, that's where you grew up, basically.
That's where it all started.
Cool. So JP, it's nice to see you guys up there. Me and Chris spoke earlier this week, and we were touching on the current state of how things are going in the country, and with the lockdown and everything. How are things up there where you guys are? Is everything at least a little quiet? Are you guys managing? I mean, how's family life? How's everything going considering the situation we're in?
Look, yes, man. I think like everybody out there, like this is crazy times, like, and it's a little bit frustrating. But yes, there's so much opportunity and like so many blessings in this time. Number one, obviously we like get to spend all the family time, you know. I remember speaking to my like best mate, Jimmy James, and I was telling him that the like last few months, like especially up over here, you know, the guys, they are chasing so much behind success, and always chasing behind your like own little tail, you know. You like kind of miss the like quality of life. So there was a stage where I was like, yes, I actually miss seeing my wife and my little Baba, you know. So all of those like excuses are like done. There is some memories that were built in this time period that was like just super amazing. And everybody's quiet. Everybody up here, well, most people they are abiding the law, and they are like staying in home, you know, and it is great. I think. From like up here, we've actually seen some like good feedback, you know. I'm just super positive, you know.
That's good. That's important. It's always important to make sure that you find the positive in it. I mean, like you said, family time's been great. I've been at home with my wife and son as well, and we've been spending so much time together. Still a bit of work on the side, but I mean, once you've done with your work and you can sit down, you can actually have a meal together. You guys can play a little bit. You know, we exercise together as the whole family, and it's really been great. You know, it's frustrating. You're right, and sometimes the kids don't understand it. I think it's the toughest for them, but I've actually been enjoying it a lot. And I remember Chris saying that, you know, conflict. You guys have been lucky so far that you guys haven't had too much conflict in the house. It's been actually quite good, and everybody is, you know, enjoying their time together.
Did you do my workout today, by the way? JP Kruger.
I've been working on my striking. My striking is actually looking quite decent now. Like I've got this amazing hot coach, like Tracy Kruger, like work, you know. Hey dude, I'm like super blessed. I can still work on my striking and my conditioning at home. My wife is that also, you know. But I promise, I'm just having a little bit of coffee, and then I'm going to jump on that workout. Promise. It's a good day.
Good luck. Best of luck with that one. Ding.
But tell us, what happened to your knee?
You know, I had Gordon Ryan come over, and we were doing a bit of a workout. Sometimes he flies in on the weekend just for like to learn some stuff. And then we were repping some stuff the other day, and he was trying to heel hook me, and they never come on.
Because he sucks at he sucks at heel hooks, because he's just the worst at heel hooks.
Yeah, I was helping John Dano with some stuff.
On his next instructional.
We discovered a new heel hook, and and it was a special one-handed one. So my knees are flipping sore at the moment though, but I'm sure it's some imbalance from all the bodyweight squats and the jumping lunges and stuff. Like Carl's giving me all these stretches I have to do. I look at them and I immediately know that I'm not going to do them.
Carl's probably going to watch this and he's going to be angry at you.
He knows. I'm looking at all this
three
stuff.
things that you have to incorporate in your jiu-jitsu is obviously you need your jiu-jitsu, you need your strength training, and then you might need to look at yoga.
I need to get those ribbons up in my house, so I'm going to start with aerial yoga. I think that's a good starting point.
Listen, you knock aerial yoga. That is pretty cool. I've done it once or twice before, and it's actually really
yes, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Since when was yoga on the ground too easy? Let's take this up a notch. Let's go aerial. I can't even stretch the ground.
There's actually something I'm bleak that there's not something like that around PE, that a lot of guys have been talking about hot yoga. So it's like yoga in like a sauna studio. So they crank it up to like 38 degrees Celsius or something, and then you have to do yoga in there. Apparently you sweat like crazy, but the rehabilitation and the stretches and everything you do in there is insanely well. It's insanely good for you.
That's great.
Look, and did Chris not say last week? Well, he said well, especially on the team group, he was talking to the guys and he said, listen, this is lockdown period. Lockdown period, there is opportunity, and there's so much opportunity to learn new things. So yeah, right. So there's few things we can fix. Our striking for the guys who was not so much conditioned, they can jump onto the home workouts. You can draw some entries, grab your wife, draw some entries for the leg locks maybe, and then obviously if you never had mobility, like I don't know about you, but most of my injuries in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is because of a lack of mobility. And obviously yoga is going to be the thing.
I have been jumping on rehabbing certain specific things. So my internal rotation on my shoulders, I've been working mid scapular, mid back stuff. I've been doing hip mobility, but I haven't really been doing overall stretching because I don't like it. But I've been addressing very, very specific body parts because I know if I try to tackle too much, I won't keep it up. Knowing myself, so I'd rather do something as opposed to trying to tackle too much and do nothing.
So
it's very wise.
So I could tell. Okay, so you were talking about that you jumped on certain rehabs. That is one of the things. When you gave that awesome speech, you kind of put a fire under my butt. Now, in your normal day, you have to work on your striking, you have to work on your jiu-jitsu, and you have to work on your conditioning. And then obviously, if you're a jiu-jitsu player, then you work on your drilling and your roll time, and then obviously on your conditioning. But then when you get obviously injury, then you have to go and you have to rehab it. Now, we always know that if you're still running a business and you still have to be a professional athlete, then it comes to that time of the day where your time is limited and you still have to go spend with your loved ones as well. So then you have to choose between your conditioning or between the rehab, because both of them are 45 minutes to an hour session. And then so many times the conditioning wins because you always want to be stronger, but and then all of the rehab, it have a bit of lack. But now this is perfect time to jump on that.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in the day that you can fill. Hey, it brings us to another challenge though, because with the workouts, a lot of people don't have equipment at home. So the workouts that they're doing are very repetitive, and you're kind of targeting the same muscle groups over and over and over. When it comes to bodyweight stuff, people aren't really knowledgeable, so they're hitting certain things a lot that give them the feeling of effect. But then in doing that, they're creating imbalances in their bodies. I'm not a biokineticist, but it's already something that's starting to highlight in my own training. I'm only doing certain exercises over and over. I'm getting imbalances, and I'm actually starting to pick up kind of repetition injuries? Maybe it's an age thing.
No, definitely. This was a big challenge for me as well. Like, because obviously when you're in the academy, all of the equipment is available, and then obviously, yes, you like get your push-ups and your sit-ups and. But this little well, not little. It's actually got a big day. There's like a big lockdown. Basically, it has taken me a bit out of my comfort zone because I know the things I know, and now, like you said, if you're gonna go, because all of us are still running. We are running our jiu-jitsu groups. We are running our kickboxing groups. But then always you have to have that bit of conditioning in for your like athletes as well. Like if you're going to tell them every single day 5 push-ups, 5 sit-ups, 5 squats, they're going to be like crazy. But the motivation is going to be crazy. So this kind of gave me the opportunity to like get out of my comfort zone and like actually go and sit and like study and like learn new things. You understand? So that I can present it to my team. You know.
You will be very pleased to know that I've downloaded a yoga app on my phone. We're breaking new ground here.
That is progress. I'm telling you, yes, man. That is.
Yeah.
So like ten minste 3 keer 'n week.
That's asking a lot, because if you know the workouts that Chris posts in the groups, and what I have picked up is that Chris does deviate from the norm, like you said, just push-ups, sit-ups, squats, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that I have to go the hell and like Google the exercise to make sure that I actually know what I'm doing and make sure that I'm doing it right. And then in between, like the rehab and stuff, which is crucial. I've also got a bit of a busted knee. I know both of you guys are sitting with knees, so I can't teach you guys anything about knee rehab, but I mean, it's good to keep and do different things every day, because it keeps your mind fresh as well. Otherwise, you just sit there and do the same stuff and you fall into a rut.
I'm at the point now, all I want to do is run some sprints, and then that's sparkling water.
No, it's a refill. It's a refill. It's just normal water.
Sparkling water is great. Okay, what was I saying?
You want to sprint and you want to do sprints?
I want to sprint and I want to do jiu-jitsu. That's like the only thing I feel like doing. I want to sprint, do jiu-jitsu, and eat a steak.
Ooh, good. That's a good trio of things you want to do there. I was telling my wife the other day as well. I miss jiu-jitsu the most. Then I want to go Then I want to go to the beach and I want to have a braai with some friends. And then I'm happy. I can do that in one weekend and I'll be good again for a while.
Well, I don't even need friends.
Yeah, JP,
just
say again.
On my screen while we're talking, a little pop-up came from WhatsApp. It was some group that's been shared. You know, the closing of a local Woolies store. This flipping COVID-19 fear-mongering is getting to me, actually. Like, if you put on the media now, it's like these people are going out of their way to terrify you.
Yeah. The thing is with the news, and this is now, unfortunately, with my background, you know, in the media industry, we hear 200 new cases, 1,000 new cases, and you hear all these bad news, and you hear about all the people dying. When last did you hear about the amount of people that actually recovered from this virus? I know that's the minority, but I mean, all you hear is all the doom and gloom and all the problems that we're having. When was the last time you heard about the research being done into a vaccine? When was the last time you heard about the amount of people recovered? Heard from someone that actually recovered? It's only the negativity. It's all this bad news going around. And then you get all these people, you get someone putting something up saying, yeah, they want to run their business, or they saw someone outside, and everybody, I don't know, there's too much negativity around this thing. I know that it's bad. It's obviously a terrible thing, but I mean, why not try to find the good news in it and try to find out what other people are doing? That's one of the reasons I'm speaking to you guys, you know, running businesses. I want to speak to some people that are running businesses from home, that have been running businesses from their home. So you can give some advice to people that are now stuck indoors, that can't, you don't hear those stories. You don't hear about the businesses that are doing well. You don't hear about there's no good news out there anymore. I barely read the news because all you hear is all the negativity and all the bad stuff.
Now look, yes. I do this one.
Okay, go.
Like, yes. Weet jy wat? Die feit is, this is tough times for like guys, you know, like you feel like get serious about this, and yes, man. Like even this morning, I like got with like Jimmy, and I was just thinking and like talking to him, and my problems, like yes, one of the coolest things.
You can't put that in the podcast. It's breaking the law.
No, definitely. Hey, he actually video calls me like a good friend, like you know.
Oh.
So the fact is, everybody is created like, well, this is my belief, by the Lord Jesus, uniquely, but nobody's situation in life is unique. And my problem is the same as the next guy's problem. Yes, man. I was like talking this morning, and I've got some really, really powerful business dudes like in my life. A lot of good business friends, and I was talking to Chris about this last night, and the one thing that stuck in my mind, all of them said, look after number one first. Yeah, that's how the world's thinking. Yes, me and my wife, we have got this personal joke, because yoga is the newest thing that I jumped on, and I'm trying it out for my Jiujitsu. And then this chick, her name is Cassandra on the YouTube thing, and then always at the last thing they will like do the corpse pose, and then she will like say, man, remember to thank yourself. Remember to thank. So the world is just at such a stage where everything is about me. But yes, man, bro, that's not what like we believe in and stuff. Like we know that if you want to be a good person, if like you want to be a stand-up person, you need to be last, bro. I know it sounds crazy, especially in the business world, but like, yes, but ons kan nie ons siel verkoop nie. This has got a domino effect. If like you're going to be thinking just me, the next guy is going to be affected. We cannot do it like this. So I went against all business, like how the big business guys were thinking. I said no, like myself and my team, we're going to live together, because that's what you are. You are a team, bro. And last month we were super blessed. This month, bro, I like stuck to it. My like tides and afternoons went in, and like this is tough times. And dude, the Lord Jesus, He blessed us with another month. But just like any other South African out there, like I believe this month was hard. This month, next month we might squeeze through, but after that, all of us are in the same boat. Do you understand? This is stressful times. But the one thing, dude, that I think that we can get out there is like, bro, in like all of this time, that all of this craziness is happening, man, I've got a peace in my spirit, man, like, because I know Jesus, He has got this, bro. Like that's it. And we must just have faith, bro. And also, ons is blessed. Look at all the blessings that you've got. There's people with much less. How many of us, everybody listening to this freaking podcast, you have got a first world problem. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, jy kan vanaand eet, hè? It's like, I think it's time that we step back, and not just number one, but we're going to have to start being a bit of a blessing out there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you, JP. It's we're in the fortunate position, like you said, like those of us, if you're watching this podcast, you have access to the internet, which is already something that a lot of people don't have. So like you said, there are people with first world problems, and then there are people with some serious issues, people that don't know, how they're going to feed their families, that have got bigger problems, that had these problems before this came in. So, I mean, forget about this next month or 2 or 3. There are people that this is their life. There are people that this is their concern every day. It's not just now for the foreseeable couple of weeks or months coming up. This is what we sit with every day. So I think we can focus on the negativity and look at all the bad news in the media, or you can read it, take it in, and realize, you know what, as bad as it is out there, my situation at this point is actually, we're happy. We're at homes with our families. We can spend time with our families. You said yourself, build memories and build relationships, and make sure that when this is done, when we can return back to normal, that you made something positive out of this, however long this period will be. We need to look beyond this and make sure that when all this is done, you're not looking at yourself and go, yes, you were a bit of an arsehole for the last 3 months, or whatever. You have to look back and be happy with who you were stuck at home, the same way you were happy with who you were before all of this came in.
Bro, like exactly what you said there. It's like this is temporary. And when all this is done, everybody's going to have a story to tell. what is the story that you're going to be telling from like your lockdown? You understand? What kind of person are you going to be? Dude, I totally failed about 2, 3, 4 days ago. Now we have got this complex here and it's got beautiful garden route and stuff. So every afternoon at 4 o'clock, I take my family and we take my little Baba and we walk through the flowers. And there was this one dude just begging, man, like from the outside. Now, I'm a bit of a para, man. When I'm with my girls, I don't really want to be bothered, but dude, and I totally failed as a human. I said to the guy, bro, I will speak to another. I didn't even give him a chance, bro. And dude, I'm a good guy. I really think when like people are not watching, I'm still doing the like good thing, but I didn't even give this guy a chance, bro. It's been eating me 2, 3 days. Flip, dude. I wish I can fix that. You understand what I'm saying? But I've caught myself failing as from like being a freaking decent human, right? Not being a piece of butter, you know, like about 2, 3 times. We have to keep ourselves accountable, buddy.
I think that's I think you say that keeping yourself accountable, that's the number one thing, not just in how you treat other people, but in all aspects. We were talking about this, me and Chris, about workouts, you know, keeping yourself accountable, making sure that you are happy with where you are and you are happy with what you're doing. This is the same with just life in general. And when you spend time with your family, are you happy with what you're achieving? And will you be able to look back at this in a month's time and go, yes, you know what, this wasn't actually such a bad experience. I picked up this, I learned this, I did this with myself, you know? So it's what you make of it. At the end of the day, it's absolutely what you make of it.
I think as a human being, probably the one thing that kind of lifts you up is progress. So if you want to feel satisfied and fulfilled every day, the biggest thing is achieve something. So tick a couple of boxes and have a goal every day. And I think that's kind of what probably my main thing is. I can't do much in a work sense, but in terms of physical growth, there's a lot of things I've neglected over the last couple of years because there always seems to be something better to train and better to focus on and do. So I've kind of taken a step back and I've prioritized a few other things. And at the end of every day, even if it's little boxes that I need to tick, as long as I'm taking care of a few of those things and I'm progressive and I'm achieving the goals that I set for myself every day, I go to bed feeling relatively okay. There's obviously things that concern you, but you know, you've got to have some kind of focus to make it through any time. And if you're just kind of drifting, then the days will get very long. So I think for me and for us as a community, that's been a bit of a focus.
The reason why we brought JP on today is because there's been a long-standing relationship between JP and Chris, and from a professional point of view, you know, JP's trained all over the world, including in Port Elizabeth with Chris down at Pesfa, and you know, JP, professional fighter, professional jiu-jitsu player. You were a kickboxing champion before you went to MMA. Can you give us a bit of background on your career? I mean, there's a lot of people that might not know you, might not know where your backstory. First off, let's start with the obvious thing, Tinkerbell. Where does the name come from? And then we can sort of build on your career from there and find it.
Tinkerbell. Because first you feel the tinkle, then you hear the bell.
Where'd that originate?
Yeah, it was lame, dude. Yeah, dude, weet jy wat? Ek het saam met 'n kickboxing coach getrain, Raymond Phillips. And you know, bro, like when you're like 21, 22 and you can like gooi a bit millies, you know, then you kind of think that you're the poof, you know. And that's not the case. So yeah. So like Raymond actually called me Tinkerbell, I think, just to humble me a bit, and that name always stick, bro.
But that's important. I think it's a funny thing, and specifically in Afrikaans culture, is taking the piss out of yourself. I mean, that's always been a thing with Afrikaans people, is a good sense of humor. And if you can make fun of yourself, then no one else can say a damn thing to you, because I mean, you've already said the worst thing about yourself. So if anyone else comes and Chris gives you crap for, you know, whatever you've done, then you can go, you know what, Tinkerbell, I'm already taking the crap out of myself. So I mean, I'm good. No, it doesn't matter what you're saying.
Yeah, no, bro.
but that's interesting. It's like you said, it's just to bring you down a notch. But obviously, you were good at what you were doing. So I mean, what was your progression through it?
Look, yes, dude, I was just super blessed, man. At the end of my first year, I became the kickboxing champion. Yeah, just a few times SA champ. few titles, and then obviously I started MMA, and then like any striker in the beginning, I thought I don't need this like floor game, you know, I can just knock somebody out. And then the first guy, he actually put me on my back. I think it was Gareth McClellan in my amateur. We were fighting in like one of my amateur events, and he put me on my back. He was the first jiu-jitsu guy that I also went against. Yes, bro. And this guy sat on top of me, and I had my pizza. And and then I realized, well, like, okay. I like actually need to start learning some jiu-jitsu. And then obviously I went through my MMA career, and I'm like done with that now. Now I'm just a jiu-jitsu player, bro. Like it is literally like hashtag jiu-jitsu lifestyle, you know?
Yeah. You're a purple belt now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And you've been the last year. Well, I want to say, I know you had the knee injury that you were rehabbing, but prior to that, that was pretty much your main focus. Was just you went through the local jiu-jitsu scene and just claimed one medal after the other. Was that the goal? Like, take a step back from MMA and just focus purely on jiu-jitsu, because it's such a, like you said, it's become a lifestyle.
Yes. Now, look, there's a lot of things, bro. I like, I think one of the biggest things, like when I train for MMA, like something in a person needs to change, you know. When you punch somebody, it becomes a little bit more personal. So like something in you needs to change before you step into the cage. And bro, I just work with so many little kids. And now all of us know, if you fight, you know, about 2-3 weeks before the fight, you become a little bit more frustrated with life. Your like temper is a little bit shorter, and dude, that means that I'm losing clients, that I'm not giving the best that I can for my little champs, you know. So I did not quite enjoy that like whole transformation where like in jiu-jitsu, you know, slap bump, and bro, it is a flippin' lovely sport. Like whether you win or whether you learn, you know, it is just a blessing to like step onto that mat and to enjoy the sport, and everybody get to watch, you know. And like you can get up from there and you can still play the game, you know. It is a little bit less personal, you know.
I get that. And also, this is sort of a question for both you and Chris. I know that you just mentioned your little champs, and I've watched the progression of Chris's kids program from pretty much when he started it up to where it is now. You know, starting as a anti-bullying class, and it sort of grew into having a little group of full-on jiu-jitsu competitors down in Port Elizabeth. How important do you feel is that because I've seen the confidence that it brings these kids, but also from a competitive and from a self-defense sort of point of view, how crucial, I'm going to start with you, JP. You guys have a well-established kids program as well. Where did that start, and what was the thinking behind that for you guys?
Sure, man. I'm like super blessed. Like you said, I like had opportunity to like train all over the world, and I've taken a look at all of these systems, and I've put it together to like create our system that we've got for the little champs. But yes, one of the funniest things, I've got so many mommies and daddies where their kids get bullied, and then they come to me, it's like, okay, listen, my kid's getting bullied. Will you teach him to fight? And then he doesn't get bullied. I'm like, no, you want him to become a bully. It is crazy. Yeah. The main thing, what you said, Nana, is you said how important is confidence. Now, what people don't realize, I believe, look, kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and all of these things, this falls straight into bully-proof, which is amazing, you know. But at the end of the day, any sport, it is, if the coach, look, what is a coach job? It's to make you feel better about yourself, you know. It is to like get you that progress, you know. So like with that, obviously confidence will grow. Have you ever, look, dude, I've seen some MMA, jiu-jitsu, whatever coaches that are bullies. I've seen some jiu-jitsu and MMA coaches that get bullied. But have you ever seen a confident person that get bullied? No, because that's the key, bro. Confident people don't get bullied. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like confidence is like so important. Like when like you work with that little champs, yeah. I like always tell my coaches, like if you want success in a kids class, look at the smiles, bro. If that kills, if like that little champ is like enjoying it and he's smiling, man, like, of course he's going to become great. You know, there is no secrets to this game. It's just mat time.
Yeah. And Chris, from your side, like I said, I remember doing a video on the kids' classes on a Saturday morning that we used for some of the local media, and looking at the kids that have come through that program that are now competitors, and kids that have now grown to the point where they're starting the adult classes again, starting it from fresh from white belt again. How did that progression go from starting an anti-bullying program to actually cultivating future competitors? I mean, that was, I'm guessing that was never the goal, but it's sort of like a happy byproduct for you.
Yeah, initially I think a lot of it was catering for kids of adults that trained with us, and I think a lot of that is reversed now. We're catering for adults of kids that train with us.
Yeah.
And initially it was never to raise competitors. It was, we had a demand to occupy the kids that came with their parents to train. And that's kind of where it started. And there was a demand. There was bullied kids, and we had recommendations from occupational therapists. And it was less of a technical thing than more of like for really small kids, to give them core stability and just give them a foundation, a physical foundation, and grow their confidence, like JP just mentioned. But now it's kind of developed into something totally different. We're producing real jiu-jitsu competitors, and we've got kids that are kind of looking at MMA at this stage. We're trying to make that transition as long as possible into MMA, obviously. We want to make sure they've got a really good grounding in jiu-jitsu before they go that way. But I think other than the things JP's mentioned, and he's touched on confidence and all those kind of things, it gives kids, from what I can see, it gives kids an appreciation for learning. And there's a lot of other sports where you can get by on physical attributes. So, the technique comes into all sport at a good level, but as a young kid, physical progression is a thing. But as a child, if you stick to jiu-jitsu, it is guaranteed that you'll get the hang of it. I can play tennis for 10 years and I can be terrible. And it doesn't matter who's teaching me, but I just, some people just don't have that. So not everyone can be a sprinter, but everybody can learn jiu-jitsu, and it gives you an appreciation for steps like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you follow a progression in terms of techniques. And once you learn that, you can apply that to other things. You can kind of assimilate that into other ways of learning. It just gives, and when what I've seen, it gives them an appreciation for, if you work hard, what you put in, you get out. And I think kind of a lot of the grappling arts have that. And then it also just gives you the ability to understand how to learn progressively, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's a martial arts thing in general. You see that discipline that a lot of kids get, whether it's through karate or whether it's through judo or kickboxing, whatever. There's a certain discipline that comes with it. But for jiu-jitsu specifically, I feel there's few sports or few martial arts that are as physical, as full body physical with that. And plus also, that you're in each other's space. There's no breathing room. If you're up against a guy that's better than you, you have to learn quickly. And I mean, there's a, like you said, there's a natural progression. And I think that jiu-jitsu and the whole grading system and how it works is very much geared towards, like, who is it? It's Joe Rogan that always says it's high level problem solving with dire consequences. It's a very philosophical way of looking at it. But I think jiu-jitsu embodies that. I mean, it's a case of you learn discipline, and you learn how to listen to people and take instruction, and you learn how to work through a problem systematically. But also, there's no bigger physical test than being put up against someone that outweighs you by 10, 15 kilograms. On a kid level, obviously, that's insane. But I mean, as adults, all of us compete. You get a guy you think 10 kg is a sack of potatoes, it's not that bad, until it's lying on top of you and you can't move. Then you realize, like, 10 kilograms is a big difference. And I mean, instilling that into kids from a very young age. Like, I've been doing jiu-jitsu now for, I think it's been 6 years. And I only started when I was a bit older. So I'm hoping to get my son in there as early as possible to teach him from a young level, because I mean, the stuff that I've learned in the last 6 years have helped my development. Now imagine applying that on a young mind like you guys are doing already.
And conversely, sorry, James.
Let's just take Joshy Bright, for instance. Now, like every single time, if like I'm gonna compete, like doesn't matter what who says, I get the butterflies. I'm like, oh, I'm like get the arms going, you know, like I get all the emotions like everybody else. But look at Joshi Bite. He's competing this weekend. He's competing in judo. This weekend it'll be a jiu-jitsu match. He wakes up. He has his like coffee, you know. He goes and does the like jiu-jitsu match. What is next on his list? Spur, you know. It is. He doesn't overthink it like us seniors, you understand? Now, if you can get to that, I've seen that. That's what the Thai guys do. Every single weekend, they have a fight. So like us here in South Africa, we are preparing for this fight. So it becomes this big altar, like this is my whole world, this fight. If this fight doesn't go my way, I'm going to kill myself, you know, kind of thing. We like get so invested and like overthink everything, where I see all of the guys who's like really champs, like I said, all of the Thai guys in their Muay Thai, Joshi Bright between the judo and all of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. We know you guys have competed as well. How many times? The more you compete, then you like kind of look. The like nerves is always kind of there, but you step up and you're a bit more confident, because confident. You know, by like winning fights, you like become a little bit more confident, but then you don't compete maybe for like 1 year. And then you step back onto that mat. Then you're like all crazy, and you have to calm all the demons, and you know exactly like that. So if we can get all of these little champs, just like Joshi, competing, and it's just another day. Straight afterwards, they're gonna go to Spur and like play on the jungle gym. Like that'll be crazy athletes. That's gonna be the dangerous kind of ones.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's true.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Joshi Bright is Chris's son, and he is an absolute animal. If you've ever seen him compete, it's amazing in judo, in jiu-jitsu, in everything. So I mean, definitely a future competitor to watch. What would you say to your son if he comes to you? He's like, Dad, MMA, that's my future, that's my path, you know, that's what I want to do. What would your response be, Chris?
Well, we always say we don't choose these paths for our kids, but I will definitely choose for him that he's not going to do MMA. He's welcome to do jiu-jitsu and judo and those sort of things, but I don't want him getting punched in the head. But I guess ultimately he's going to make his own choice. And who knows, he might end up being a fashion model or a flipping professional chess player. We don't know, do we?
Yeah, instructor.
Yeah, no, like he's got to live his own life. Right now, I can tell him what to do, but when he gets to a certain age, he'll make his own choices. But the lifestyle of MMA is very difficult. It's difficult to maintain focus on anything outside of MMA when you're doing MMA. So I don't know, like balance is difficult. Maybe it's not the same for everyone, but it was very difficult for me. I couldn't focus on 3 months before a fight. That's all I thought about for 3 months. I would wake up for a pee at 3 in the morning and think about my training the next day. So it's not the most balanced lifestyle necessarily to be a fighter.
I think there's a certain level of, if you want to be the best competitors, you have to be obsessed with it. And I think it's a scary mindset to have if you're obsessed with MMA. You know, being I want to say obsessed with jiu-jitsu is a case of jiu-jitsu, you can control the pace. You know what it's like. You can do that. You can still get up and you can go about your life. But as JP said, punching someone is a little bit more personal. If you're obsessed with that sort of, with that, I mean, I'm talking to two guys who have been there, professional fighters, but I mean, you guys would probably be the best people to explain that to us, that being obsessed, and the way JP described it, you know, those couple of weeks before the fight, and I've seen this with Chris as well, those couple of weeks before a fight is, you're not also always a very, what's the word I'm looking for? But
careful, yeah.
To be around.
Be careful.
No, but be honest, you know, it's your your whole attitude change.
Chris goes super dark.
Yeah, he does. That's what I'm getting to. Now you're smiling now, but I'm no, it's I'm
throw a knee.
No, it's
goes super dark.
You have to do that mind shift to go into battle mode, basically. And I mean, it can't be healthy to be in that frame of mind just constantly, just all the time.
Look, Rian, yes, you said obsession. Obsession is kaas belangrik, bro. It's like every single time when my jiu-jitsu champs even line up, MMA, jiu-jitsu, doesn't matter, bro. Any champion. Like, you need to be obsessed with it, but you need to understand, like to be a champion, there is great sacrifice in like being a champion. This is a big part why I also left the like MMA industry and like just do jiu-jitsu now, because at the end of the day, you have to tick all of your sessions, your kickboxing, your boxing session, your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu session, all of those sessions. And then later on, when you got a wife and kids and you got some family time, so now, why did I just say champion takes sacrifice? So you got a choice. You're either going to do that extra conditioning or that extra boxing, or you're going to see your little girl grow up or not grow up. You understand? So there is sacrifice, and then it all comes down to, is the juice worth the squeeze kind of thing. You know, like there was a certain stage where I'm like, okay, listen, this is not worth it for me anymore. This is not what I want in life, you know. But definitely, and even in jiu-jitsu, you know. If you're not going to be obsessed, bro, you are going to be left behind, man. You can never want to be that champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that, like you said, there's obviously obsession is the ultimate. I mean, but there's levels of obsession. To be obsessed with MMA, like you said, you've got 5, 6, 7 different things you need to be focused on. You need to be focused on your striking and your grappling. You need to do wrestling, kickboxing, all these things. Whereas I almost feel like you can be obsessed with jiu-jitsu, but you can still lead a normal life as well. I mean, there's certain sacrifices you have to make, but there's less sacrifices than if you have to do 7 different disciplines a day. You can focus on your jiu-jitsu, you can focus on your mat time. And the fun thing with, if you've got a good environment at your gym, is your family can come along, they can sit there, they can be part of the experience. Whereas with fighting, for example, is, for me, my son's 3, is almost 4 years old. You know, it might not be the best idea to have him cage side at an MMA fight, but for him to be at a jiu-jitsu tournament is a lot more of a safer environment, I feel, for a young mind to be exposed to. I mean, I don't know, do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, look, sorry, 1, 2, 3.
Go for it.
Jiu-jitsu, it is like MMA also, it is, well, you're supposed to be a sportsman, yeah? Although not everybody is, but with the jiu-jitsu guys, like you say, like most of the times, you're like, kids come along with you to the gym, because at the gym, all of those team members, it like is a community, like you guys were talking about in your last podcast, you understand? So it takes a village to like raise a child. My little girl Emmeline, she gets raised by everybody at the gym, just like Joshi Baji does at like the like gym that side, you understand? So like definitely, I think after you like tap somebody, you like jump up, you shake each other's hand, and it's still a beautiful sports environment, and it's great for like your son one day to like see you win and to see you lose. It's great lessons for him as well, you understand? But it comes down to that personality. Well, it becomes a little bit more personal. You like don't want your son to sit next to you while somebody is maybe taking a mount position and like punishing you a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Chris, your point of view, I mean, you want to say something as well?
I think what we've touched on here is the jiu-jitsu illusion. You get different types of obsessed with something. Most people, when they think about MMA, if they're obsessed with MMA, most people that train and then are obsessed with MMA are obsessed with becoming a champion. You get people that are obsessed with jiu-jitsu that have no aim to be a champion. So you get different people that just love jiu-jitsu and they want to train twice a week, and then all they think about is jiu-jitsu, but they only train twice a week. I think if you ask Gordon Ryan or someone like Craig Jones about their obsession in jiu-jitsu, it would be up there with the John Jones and Demetrius Johnson obsession. So there's kind of levels to this. And I think if you want to be the very best at jiu-jitsu, you need to be just as obsessed and dedicated as a top MMA person. And I think somewhere along the line, it gets lost. A lot of jiu-jitsu people believe if they come in 2-3 days a week and they train a little bit here and there and they don't really live the lifestyle, they can become what the MMA guys are. And I think there's a level of kind of dedication that maybe some of the jiu-jitsu guys haven't realized is necessary, because they think you don't need to do all the elements like the wrestling and the conditioning. And I think that's, maybe it has worked for some people. I don't know. But I still think you need the 7 hours training a day to be that guy, to be Andre Galvao.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we just necessarily, most people that talk MMA don't really see what the top jiu-jitsu guys are doing every day. I'm sure they also, it's like an MMA camp for them, and they probably get just as dark, and they're just as committed to the process. Back in the old days, I would go into an MMA fight and I would tell myself I'm not tapping no matter what. Like, this guy will have to literally beat me to death. You know, that full commitment to a fight. And, you know, perhaps I would go to a judo comp, and then if a guy gets me in an armbar or tap. So it's levels of commitment in that environment, I think. But, you know, it would take a lot for me to tap in an MMA fight once I've committed on that level. And I think the very best jiu-jitsu guys also kind of get to that state where you can armbar Gordon Ryan. It doesn't mean he's going to tap. So I think it's just levels of commitment within the community, if that makes any sense.
You rightfully mentioned now specifically guys like Gordon Ryan and Craig Jones, and I think about that. I can't remember with what organization it was, but they had the match where they started with where Craig Jones had Gordon Ryan in a full extended armbar, and he managed to escape it. But the amount of damage that was done to his arm to get out of that, I know his elbow was pretty much messed up for quite a bit, and he needed to do some rehab on that. But I mean, that's what you're saying there, that willingness that I'm not going to lose. You know, I'll lose this arm before I lose this match. And that's very much that same dark mindset that you had to get into to be that obsessed about being a champion, you know, whether it's in an MMA or in this case in the jiu-jitsu fight. You see that. Or you look at any Olympic fighters, you know, you look at boxers, for example, you can fight as an amateur in the Olympics. And the guys have that same kind of obsession. You know, these guys beat the crap out of each other. They're still ranked as amateurs, but they've got that goal of becoming a professional, and they've got that professional champion mindset at an amateur level already. And I think you see with some MMA fighters as well, guys that are coming through the ranks on the amateur level. I know both of you train amateur fighters, that you get guys that are at a young age at an amateur level already have that championship mindset. I mean, it might not, some people, they might consider that unhealthy, but for a guy that you see, this is his main focus in life, at a young age to develop that mindset. I don't know. Do you feel that's healthy? I mean, healthy in the sense that obviously if this is your life and this is what you want to dedicate to, obviously that's the best sort of mindset to cultivate at a very young age.
I guess health is relative. Like, it's not like any of us are going to live forever. So, you know, life is short, and kind of go after whatever stokes your fire. I'm a retired fighter. I'm 46 years old. When I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I still shadow box. You know, so I think you're either that person or you're not. I know guys that train MMA twice a week that think they're going to be in the UFC one day. You know, so I guess it's perspective, and they're not going there. I know jiu-jitsu guys that train that want to be a world champion, that come in 2-3 days a week and they do an hour. But then I don't know. I know people that do jiu-jitsu 4 or 5 hours a day, and just love it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's perspective. I don't think anything's wrong. I think if you're pushing an athlete, a young athlete, like as a parent, if I'm pushing Josh to do it, pushing him hard, I guess that's probably not the right way. But if it's coming from the athlete themselves, then, you know, life is short, you know, go for it.
Of course, yeah. JP, on your side, I know you've got a couple of guys that are coming through the ranks now as well. You've got a fairly well-established amateur team. You've got a couple of guys that are fighting pro at this point. What's the, if you look at individuals, you know, individual mindsets, guys that have got the potential to go all the way, but also from a team perspective, I know I once quoted you on something, and you said, someone much smarter than you said this, saying that MMA is one of the most underrated team sports. How important is that? I mean, like we said, you've got individuals with that mindset, but how important is it to have a team of dedicated people working together to cultivate someone's prospective career, if I can put it like that?
Yes, Brad. You know, I was like thinking about this now when you said this. I'm like, okay. I will answer your question with a question. So everybody who's training for a jiu-jitsu fight or for an MMA fight, how's your training going in a lockdown? You understand what I'm saying? It's like that's it, bro. It's like it is like nowhere. Like I'm super blessed. I got my wife holding pads on me, you know. It's like, but your wife's not going to take you to UFC. Yeah. Maybe she is. Yeah. So the sort of thing. It's definitely, bro. Most underrated teaspoon. I'm talking about that obsession and the being like professional. Yes, it was amazing. Well, like Chris said, no, it's like for the young ones, for the little kiddies, man. Yeah, like I said, if you're pushing, I don't think it's good. When that kid is on the mat, the only thing he needs to do is have fun, bro. If that kid's on the mat, imagine that kid being on the mat from 5 years old, having fun till 18. When he's 18, he's going to be a machine regardless. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like then you must just like make sure he's a gentleman and, you know, got like all of the right ethics basically. But like when it comes to like the amateur team, like I'm talking from my like youth team, everybody from my youth team, right, from like 13 years up, if they step into that gym, into that team session, that's a choice he made. He wants to be there, you understand? So like all of my guys know that if you step into my team session, even especially when you're an amateur, I need you to start acting like a pro. If you want to make it, you can't start acting professional when you sign professional or like get your professional license. You have to start living a professional lifestyle now at 13, bro. Then you're going to make it. You understand? Like, let's even look at like Dricus and like Cameron and then like they are the guys that is professional now. They are young guys. You understand? But from an early age, they realize this is what they want to do. I've got guys who's almost turning pro, like Shannon van Tonder. We got Gift Walker. We got Nathaniel Komani. This is also young guys from an early age. They are starting to live professionally. That's going to be the kind of guys that make it.
Mm-hmm. And also,
I think.
Sorry, yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Sorry, from a team perspective, it's not necessarily like, I don't know, we like try and make it into a coaching thing. I think it's a cultural thing. If you have a team with a certain work ethic, I think in that sense, you know, you kind of lift each other up, or you keep each other like kind of pushed down. And in South Africa, it's kind of a micro environment of MMA. You can almost go through a local fight card and you can pick the winners of fights based on what team they come from. And I don't attribute it to, I really don't think that it's necessarily a technical coaching element. I guess that's part of it. But if you take it on a bigger scale, like the UFC, on that level, all the coaches know the fundamentals. So like everybody's being educated in a similar kind of way. So everybody knows what they should know. But the success comes from a lot of different environments over there. In South Africa, it's smaller, so like some teams have the foundation, or they educate their people, but there's only a few of them, and like there's a whole lot of teams that don't educate their people. So in this little environment, you can pick the winner based on are they going to be educated or not. Once they get into the bigger scale of things, everybody's educated. You know, then you know most of those teams have got their culture rights. So I think. If you on the bigger scale, if you don't have your culture rights, you're not going to make it to that level. You're going to be stuck in the smaller shows. You're not going to get there. And I think in South Africa, it's very evident. Like one or two teams that stick out like a mile above the others, and they've obviously just got something right in their culture. The people come together. They've got a good work ethic. They've got like maybe a good community vibe. The guys just want to train and get better. And you get other teams that just kind of putt along. They're probably smoking after training sessions and partying on the weekends, or maybe just set a low standard, like a low work ethic, and they just don't get there.
I think from speaking from knowing the two of you, and speaking from knowing your gym setup and the guys that train with you, I think it comes back to that cultivating an environment, like you said now, Chris. Like, I know when someone at Pesfa is in a fight camp and you pull up some guys from the floor. So we're training jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of guys on the mat. You know you want to work on Sindile's wrestling. And you pull one or two guys off the mat and say, you guys are going to now rotate on Sindile and help him focus on this aspect of his game, or work on against the cage, or work on striking. It's just as important for those guys who are perhaps they're hobbyists, perhaps they're just there to have a good time or train. It's very important for them to, when they step in that environment of training with a professional, to do the mind shift as well. Like, I can't now screw around and have fun and make jokes. I'm training with a professional. So I need to make the mind shift and act professionally, even though this isn't my career or my choice, but I was selected. I'm good enough to help with the situation. So it's on me to adapt to training with this professional.
Definitely. We've seen it with the boxing. We've actually lost a couple of guys over the years because they were decent boxers. We used to pull them out in fight camp and say, okay, you go spar with the pros. And then like 6 months later, the guys stop coming. So I guess there's also a voluntary thing. I think some guys might not like getting pulled across to the wrestling. So they've got to want to be there as well. But it definitely gives them an exposure to being professional. And there's a different feel to that kind of training, I think. They're not giggling the whole time and having a laugh. Although sometimes we do. But it definitely gives them a different exposure. And there's a different requirement to be on that level, hey?
Yeah, but also I think like you said, no, when you get pulled out, then like sometimes you like become serious and you have to become professional. Yeah, you always have to act professional and stuff, but I don't think that you have to become anal about life. Like it's already tough, man. If like you're just gonna go dark in your brain, it's just gonna be worse, you know. You can always remain playful, but you still have to keep yourself like basically accountable. Like don't be the like class clown, but like you can smile like yo, bro, I can have the hardest role out there and like still have a big smile because it's fun. Yeah, you like actually want to be there, you know. Yeah. So I don't think that you have to become like super duper like anal, but obviously take the quality serious. But dude, you can have fun. You can crack a joke. Yeah, it's good.
Exactly, yeah.
I think when I'm in a professional environment, I become more aware of contributing to the state of mind of the athlete that's focused. So instead of just focusing on my own output and with the work I'm doing, I'm focused on the athlete. Like if I'm working with Shorty, I'm very focused on his state of mind and where his head's at. So everything I say or do is kind of aimed around triggering him the whole time.
Yeah, and then it is always good to have that one. It's good to be that super focused, but it's always good to have one or two people there that are going to lighten the mood. I'm thinking of, for example, at Pesfa, you've got Cedric. You're going to have this super intense workout, and when he's involved and when he's training, I've seen his face drop and everything just goes, okay, I'm turning into a tank now. But the moment he's off the mat and everybody's a little bit more relaxed, and you hear him crack a joke and everybody will laugh, and that immediately breaks the tension as well. So it's having that obsession and having that professional mindset, but then also balancing it out with being, you know, with having a community, with having friends, with not taking yourself too seriously, but when it's time to work hard. When it's time to play, let's take a step back, let's breathe, and let's just, you know, take it easy. I mean, that's important to have those people around there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every community's got their clowns.
JP is just the biggest clown at his gym. You know, he runs it, but he's also, you know, acting the fool half the time. So most of the time, it's good to have a coach like that. You know, that can beat you up, but then laugh in your face while he's doing it. You know, I think that really builds character, I think.
I don't know. I've seen JP when he visits us. He's very nice and he's jovial. When he's with his own people, he's tough.
Yeah, it's that Nigel mindset, you know, it's that Nigel mindset that comes back into play.
I get Tracy laughing in the background. She knows it's true.
Tracy, like with this podcast, like I got my wife over there, like she's just making sure that if I say something stupid, she's like, no, don't say that.
She recognizes the truth.
Yeah, Chris. Because he most of the time he says something stupid. He doesn't want Nicole telling him to quiet down. You know? I was like, is there anything else you guys want to touch on? I've been keeping you probably for about an hour now. I don't want to waste your whole Saturday. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we ring off?
Yeah, look, you know, I've got so many other things to go and do now that we really need to cut this short.
Where's Emma?
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Hello, Evelyn.
Hello.
Here we go. Yeah. Yo, you're amazing, bro. Thanks for today. But listen, you were saying like one last thing, like something that's just stuck in my head, man. Like we have to realize like if we're gonna be at home in this lockdown and just Netflix and chill, bro, Like
PUBG.
Dit gaan dom wees, hè. We like can't be like, Jesus, please help us through the situation, but you just Netflix and chill. You're gonna have to wake up in the day, and you're gonna have to get some purpose in your life, buddy. That's basically the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah. No, fine. Keep yourself busy. Keep your mind occupied. Spend time with the people that you need to spend time with. I think that's important. And when all of this is done, it's like we said earlier, when all this is done, look back and hopefully you like the person you were while you were in lockdown. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. Just be sure that you live a good life. Just be good. That's all we want to know. Just be good. That's all. Just be better. Okay? You can do better. That's all I want to say.
And stay at home. Don't be crazy.
Stay at home. Sanitize. I don't have hand sanitizer, but be wise. There we go.
It's never far.
Guys, thank you so much for the time. And we'll catch up again. If anything else comes up, we can always do this again. And like we said, stay safe, enjoy time with the family, and we'll catch up again later.
Cool. Okay, bye, Tracy. Thank you for the contribution.
What's that?